Party people, what's good? What's good? What's good? Sorry for the delay. It's your boy Hakim Green, channel live and direct, BDP all day, every day. All we do is spark Mad Izm here on Mad Izm Sports with my co-host Wes Henderson
Junior.
Junior. You gotta give Pops his just due. Hold on one second, bro. Right. You got to give Pops his just due.
Absolutely.
A wonderful job raising your knucklehead ass. But he raised good men and women, so
absolutely.
Shout out your dad. Yes, sir. So yeah, man. You know what it is. Mad Izm Sports. A lot happened last week. The attempt was to have Tamika Dixon on the show this week, but some things happened, schedules got crossed, and she couldn't make it. But she is locked in for next week. And next week we're gonna have a special edition of Mad Izm Sports on Wednesday the 24th. And because on Thursday the 25th, we're doing, the Mad Izm Cypher, which is going to be a live stream performance on the Mad Izm TV platform. It's going to be some dope artists coming through, DJs and what have you. It's going to be a live performance that we're doing down here in Miami, but we're going to live stream it on the Mad Izm TV platform. And just trying to do a little something different. All that said, Mad Izm Sports is going to take place next Wednesday, the 24th at 7 p.m. And, the following week, we're going to continue on. The other thing is that, this week being Women's Month, Women's History Month, we wanted to keep the theme, with the ladies, with the queens. This week we're not able to do that, but we're going to get into bracketology, and we'll get into some other conversations, of course, live and direct. With that said, I'm going to put up some videos so we can share, and bring people in the building, let people know we live and direct. We started off late. That's my bad, technical issues. But, let's take this time to bring folks in the building.
Social distancing and other mitigation measures they've put in place. The president's been itching to begin easing the nationwide guidelines meant to stem the outbreak and contain the economic fallout. Well, the weekly jobless numbers are out, and they are a staggering show of the early impact of the new coronavirus on the economy. Around 3.3 million people filed for unemployment in the past week, far exceeding the previous record from 1982.
This goes out
that I will use my right for the right
all my smokers, my dabbers, my vapors,
for the right to be free.
Set up that hookah.
Like it's 420.
Mad Izm in effect, hip-hop changed the game. Everybody smoke good, my grower changed the strain. I used to smoke for the thrill, now I do it for the pain. I stay pushing weight, I do it for the gains. It's like a revolution, Prince with purple rain. Purple kush, purple haze, like cheese in a maze. So I put lights in the tunnel, LED supply the rays. All we do is spark Mad Izm, that shit is all the craze. Remember back in the days, trade bags of haze from the corner bodega. Poppy put it in some lays. It was rhymes in a cypher with blunts in the air. Then off with a shorty couch locked in a chair. My shorty look exotic, weed kinda rare. She said the weed was erotic with smoke in the hair. Izm makes the time go by, life without a care. So roll it up, light it up, put it in the air.
I believe in happy faces, yes, this is true. Love is just for special people, yes, just like you. If you're reaching for the stars, you know you can do anything you want to if you just get into. Then I believe that I will use my right for the right to be me. I believe that I'll choose this fight for the right to be free. I believe I'll treat tonight like it's 420.
Yo.
I'm the Johnny Blaze. I get pounds from Sugar Hill, I get dimes from Sugar Rays. I keep the aromatic, it's a passion, not a habit. Hakim go with green, it's like carrots go with rabbits. It's so automatic how the weed gets lit. Duplicate the seed, clones get clipped. Hawk, what you puffin' on? I know that ain't the piff. Wedding cake and gelato, huh? Wanna lit? I got flavors, pump flavors, they call me Flavor Flav. Gorilla Glue #4 and Super Haze. Afghani in the cough, sour diesel gets me off. I'm looking for a rental property, something like a loft, so I can grow these trees just in time for Christmas. Saint Nick with the gift list. I know you wanna hit this. Look for Mad Izm when it's time to light a flare, then roll it up, light it up, put it in the air.
I believe in happy faces, yes, this is true. Love is just for special people, yes, just like you. If you're reaching for the stars, you know you can do anything you want to if you just get into the groove. I believe that I will use my right for the right to be me. I believe that I'll choose this fight for the right to be free. I believe I'll treat you like it's 420. Like it's 420. Yes, this is true.
What really stands out to many are the one-time direct payments from the government. The Trump administration says they hope to start rolling them out in 3 weeks. The payments are based on your latest tax filing. Individuals who earn $75,000 or less will get $1,200.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What up, KG? The Almighty.
Oh, what up, yo?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I thought I was still backstage, man. I didn't know you opened the curtain on me.
My bad. My bad. I should give you a heads up, right?
It's all good. At least I wasn't doing nothing illegal or something crazy.
Absolutely not.
Right.
As I roll up this L.
Hey, that ain't illegal. No more. Not no more.
Why? Well, in Jersey, but you know, in Florida, it's getting lax. You know, they do have a program, and you know, but it's not like it is in Jersey right now. Big shout out to the New Jersey weed man, by the way.
Right. You had a wrist injury, man. It's for the injury, man. It's for healing purposes.
Yeah.
That's right. That's medicinal. Medicinal. No doubt, man. No doubt. Yo, so you know, we in week 14, Mad Izm SPORTS. And you know, the plan was to have Tamika Dixon a part of this conversation this week. But she has some things come up, so we're gonna reschedule with her next week. And also, we're going to be doing the show on Wednesday, the 24th. I'm doing a special streaming event on the 25th on Thursday. It's going to be a live performance down here in Miami, but I'm going to stream it on the Madison platform that Thursday. So we're going to do a special edition next Wednesday on the 24th with Tamika Dixon and close out Women's Month, Women's History Month. So that's the plan. That's the plan. And, you know, once again, salute to the almighty KG from Naughty by Nature for sitting in and week out with us. You know what I'm saying? And bringing a lot of insight from the sports world.
He's a heck of a referee, man. He's a heck of a referee. He brings us ballots.
No doubt. Yes, sir. Well, what's on the ledger this week, Wes? What we gonna do?
Man, I think we need to open up by paying homage to LeBron James today. Just because, you know, Hakeem knows I'm tough on the brother inside 90 feet, but I have not one inkling of an issue with the man off the court. And the fact that he's doing what he's doing while he's still playing is just phenomenal. Right. And the message that he's sending, as he's sending it, he's doing it in a way where he's letting us know that he's there. And he's not holding back either in terms of his awareness of what's going on. He's putting people on. He's reaching down and he's grabbing folks up. Everything that we want this generation to do, he's answering the bell like no other. And you know, I hate to say like no other because, you know, without the Muhammad Ali's, without the Russells, there is no LeBron, right? Wow. But that's as far as I go with in terms of the examples, in terms of iconic people that he's following in the footsteps of. There's nobody in between him and those guys. You know, Mike and Magic, they set they set themselves up for after retirement, and they became moguls after the fact. This man is doing it while he's still lacing up the shoes.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say that. I wanted to deliver that message because I think it's important to let people on this podcast, including one of my hosts, know that it's all basketball related when it comes to my criticism. It has nothing to do with him as a man. Because as a man, he's phenomenal. Period.
Yeah. That's
and I mean, especially when, you know, most or a lot, like you said, like very few, you can count them probably on your hand. That, and I say hand, like one hand, that, you know, are willing to jeopardize their careers to stand up for, you know, a purpose or for, you know, for anything, you know, or to be able to speak out and just, you know, speak against, you know, the system or whatever it may be out there. So, you know, like you said, kudos to LeBron, man. He's making power moves, not only in Hollywood, you know, just across the board. Also, too, you know, like you mentioned, like, you know, for him to even be a part owner of the Boston Red Sox now, like that's crazy.
This is the rooms that he's in, right? That's the key factor, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of these same rooms that we're talking about, they were the people saying he was running with thugs and hoodlums back in the early, you know, in the early 2000s. You know, no one wanted to do business with Maverick Carter. They created a Rich Paul rule, and you know the narrative that's already, because you know most folks that don't look like us, they operate in narratives. We operate on facts, and the narrative was already set up that LeBron and his people wouldn't be able to dance in these circles. And they're dancing around these circles, and they're dancing circles around people. That's what they're really doing. And the thing that I love most about it is that it's not their worst nightmare, but it is, because he's just trying to set the foundation that he's doing what we should be able to do. Not just at a basketball level or just because he's worth more than $1 billion. He's setting up a foundation where he's going to be grabbing people that look like us, not intentionally, but because he understands. I mean, the man built affordable housing on blocks in Akron, Ohio. So he put stores that people can afford in their own neighborhood. That's understanding the message. Who else is doing that, even in a political stance? No one is doing anything like that. So he's about his business. I mean, like, this as much as I can tear him up on the court, I can go on and on off the court about all the positive things the brother's doing.
Yeah. And the thing is too, like, you know, normally, like, people will always look at, you know, businessmen or whatever, because they look at everything and say, okay, they're running a business and they're doing this, they're able to do this because they own a business. But now people are starting to really realize that even these sports guys, these individuals, these musicians, we are a business.
Yes.
So we're able to present and bring up people along with us and bring, like you said, the Maverick Carters and all of those type of, you know, those guys, the Rich Pauls, like people that you may have grown up with that people might from the outside think, oh, that person don't belong in this boardroom, but you know better. You, like, I grew up with this guy. I know he's more than capable of doing it. So, you know, through sports, through music and all of this stuff, we're getting the opportunity to bring some of our fellow Black people up, you know, and propel them to these positions and in these boardrooms to be able to showcase their skills as well, which is a great thing.
It's a great thing. And you and KG, you can speak to this because you are actually a product of it. You had two other brothers that you sat down with and you guys built something together and you collaborated. You are into the music. Lenny is a hype man. He's like, that's what he's born to be. And he's a rapper. And then you got Stretch, that he had his space, but y'all collaborated. You didn't compromise, you collaborated because all of you brought your best to the table and you can all succeed. There's a lot of brothers just like us. Like, I look at my circles, Hakim is in that circle. We all bring a different talent to the table, but we've all been beaten in a different way mentally to have to figure this out now. And LeBron James had it all figured out early, where he paid for his boys to go to college and get their degree when he was 19, 20 years old. They were all getting an education. Now they're 36 years old and 35, and they're all well versed.
Running the game.
One of the best businessmen out there is Maverick Carter. Rich Paul is probably one of the best agents out there. So we have, if you allow us to come together and we can kind of see through the minutia that's put out there for us to kind of eat and chew on, if we could just leave that alone and quiet the noise, there's a lot of groups of brothers that are just friends, just like you guys, that could come together and do. You have to be a billionaire, but you can run your own life based on this example.
The thing I love about LeBron is because he literally comes from where we come from.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And we've seen so many athletes coming from where we come from who at a young age were just as talented, but for whatever reason couldn't stay the course. You know, opportunities were granted, but opportunities were missed for a whole bunch of reasons that when you see LeBron's life, understand where he comes from, like the fact that he's who he is that much more amazing. And he's building systems. And that's like, you know, we have one-offs, like he made it, she made it, but to have someone understand that we got to build systems so we can replicate the success over and over again is phenomenal, man. Hats off to him.
That's
people to do.
Right. And that's sort of what he's, you know, like you said, Hawk, like he's trying to build that, I guess, probably through his I Promise school, you know, building systems with these kids and installing that culture in them and in their brains as, you know, just while they're young, so they can carry that into adulthood.
Yeah.
It's a perfect blueprint. I mean, when you build it, they'll come, right? And that's what we've been saying about, and it's not a slight on a lot of the Black people, like the billionaires that have done things, because they do a lot of Black people do a lot of phenomenal things. Like if you just listen to a lot of different podcasts that are off the mainstream, you find out how many players are doing, I mean, just banana stuff in terms of community giving back. They do so many things that we don't talk about because the media doesn't want to show you that about them. I don't care if Ndamukong Suh is a mean player on the football field. He's a teddy bear and a giver off the field. You know what I'm saying? He's another business mogul doing a whole lot of different things. But those are the people that we don't pay attention to because we think that they're bad guys because that's how they set them up on TV. But there's other sides to these people. And LeBron James is just really making it comfortable for a lot of people to understand that they can do that too.
Yeah. And speaking, you know, in a segue of speaking of LeBron James, you know, he's in a dogfight right now as far as that MVP because got a few people that's on his tail.
Man, before we go there, because that's a whole conversation in and of itself. My whole mind has changed in the last 24 hours about James Harden. Like I'm
on Kyrie Irving.
Oh wow, it's crazy right now. But since we give salutations, we saluted LeBron for what he done. We want to salute Patrick Ewing.
Yes,
for winning
the Hoyas
championship, the Hoyas, AC coming in and doing what they do. But then to get accosted at the Garden, I want to get y'all opinion on that.
And just real quick, here we are, another one, Pat Ewing, the legend, who's been sitting on NBA benches for the longest, trying to get an elevated job within the NBA system and couldn't get it. And he's showing his worth now, right back at his alma mater over at Georgetown. So kudos to Pat with that.
Yep, kudos to Pat. I had brought it up to Hawk that sometimes in order to do shows like this, you got to watch what people are doing.
Right.
And Skip Bayless was at it again, just on some foolishness with Pat Ewing. Like sometimes you just want people to just call people out on this just stupidity, like just absolute stupidity. Yeah, you don't like Pat Ewing, but for you to sit there and say Madison Square Garden personnel has turned over, there's a lot of 7-foot big guys out there. Listen.
Stop it, man.
Stop. That's Patrick Ewing. That's Madison Square Garden. Let the man in.
And you know who's playing tonight. You know who you working for, and you come on.
Yeah. They know who the coach of Georgetown is.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And for him to sit there and say the things he said and to bring up just the fact that, then he gets to the point where, he doesn't even deserve to get in because he didn't win anything. Like, Stop. Patrick Ewing. When you think of the New York Knicks, Patrick Ewing is one of the top 3 players you're going to think about. Walt Clyde Frazier, Willis Reed, Patrick Ewing. Period. That's it.
Like, I mean, yeah, you got a few you might throw in there depending how old you are, but you know, when you really talking about it, like, come on, man, like you can't do that to Pat Ewing, not especially at the Garden. But then again, you know, Spike Lee had a similar situation going on at the Garden, so who knows what's going on over at the
but that's did Ewing speak up for Oakley when that went down?
I don't know. I can't say yes or no. I didn't hear from him. But that doesn't mean he didn't say anything.
Right.
But no, I didn't hear anything direct from Patrick Ewing on Charles Oakley.
Yeah, and that's it seems like James Dolan has, put a rule in that no matter who, there's a certain, formality you have to go through. And that's just like that. That's bananas because that's just so totally disrespectful to the history of the Knicks, New York Knicks, and Spike Lee. When you look at what happened to Spike Lee, you got Spike Lee, you got Charles Oakley, now you got Patrick Ewing. It's just totally disrespectful. That has to be something that comes from the top.
Yeah, it's a common theme, and I mean for that, I mean everybody, everyone's getting the message. They keep telling you who they are. Believe them. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you know what? And I'm not, like I say, I think it's whack. But let's look at the flip side of it too. Playing devil's advocate. So let's say, Hawk, you're going to perform, and you're going in the club. And they happen to ask you, hey, I need to see your ID. I'm like, yeah, when I'm performing. Okay, I mean, yeah, okay, fine. But I need to see your ID as a club.
Wait, let me add a piece of that. What club is it? That's if it's a club that he never been to, I get it. But if it's a club that Hakim frequent every Thursday night,
right?
No.
There you go. You know what, Wes? That's the perfect answer right there. You know what? You got it right there.
It's bigger. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. If it's a person who's responsible for millions of dollars of revenue being brought through that club and they're getting hassled, that's different. Patrick Ewing is responsible for millions of dollars of revenue from MSG.
Right.
Yeah, he's not supposed to get no problem.
I was trying to find a devil's advocate for it, but Wes killed it with that one, yo. You guys are totally right with that one. Hey, that's different. Like if it's a club, like, hey, listen, if you ain't built that club, and it's totally different.
It's
like
totally
if
different.
You got a frequent visiting club by you, then they might not know who you are. But come on. And I'm not trying to make an excuse for them because I think it's ridiculous. Pat Ewing, come on, man. You got to know who Pat Ewing is at the Garden.
At the Garden,
Madison Square Garden. It wasn't Staples Center. It's the Garden. That's his house.
Yeah. Isn't there like a there's no plaque or anything when you going through this area of Knicks greats? Like you go to some arenas.
There's no way. There's no big a big poster.
I'm on the wall right there. Look
on that wall.
Right
a
there.
Picture. Something. It absolutely is in there.
Yeah, but you know what? It might be the picture of Scottie Pippen getting that thing off. So that might not be a good look.
The numbers up in the rafter and the name, but there's no face on it. I guess they like, oh dang, I didn't know. Like you look different now.
Yeah. All right, so let's switch gears, right? And we was talking about that MVP race. Yeah. And man, without Kyrie, without KD, this dude put up a 42-point triple-double last night.
Absolutely.
Martin is playing incredible right now. And me and my son had not an argument, but a discussion. Because I was saying that Harden had changed his game to play for the Nets. And he was like, no, he didn't. He's playing the exact same way. And I was like, nah, because he was shooting every other shot down the court with Houston. He was like, yeah, kind of, sort of, but he's still been playing the same way. He was like, and then he pulled the stats. He was like, look, he was averaging like basically like 9 assists and all these rebounds. He's doing a little bit better, so he slightly changed it, but overall he's playing the same. And I've been watching the Nets, a lot more lately just to see. And he's basically like Harden, man. He especially now with Embiid being hurt, like Harden has totally catapulted himself up there right now.
I agree. I mean, again, I don't. James Harden to me is one of the best scorers I've ever seen. His issue has always been in that moment that when it really mattered most. Like that's all it's ever been. He can throw numbers up. I mean, he can throw 30, 15, and 15 in his sleep. He can do that in his sleep. You know what I mean? And being in Houston, I saw it like all the time. Like you just be like, this dude right here, you know, just can just score at the best of them. I just want to see it. I just want to see it when it really matters. And for me, like I talked about this week. I just really feel like he was the reason they didn't get that done. Him.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like right now, yes, he's looking great, but playoffs didn't come around yet. You gotta show it. You gotta show it in the playoffs. And I'm not even talking about just the first round. Like you got to get to the chip, dude. You have to get to the chip, and you have to be up, and you have to be one of the main reasons why y'all get to the chip too.
Like I was telling Hakim, I said the difference between Harden going to the Nets and KD going to Golden State. Harden's playing the best. He's playing the best when they don't. When Kyrie and KD aren't playing, he's stepping up, right? Mm-hmm. But when Kevin Durant went to Golden State, he was still the best player on the team. We can't really say that because Kyrie's having a hell of a run too. He just can't stay healthy. And KD has played great when he's played. So they've all had stints, but Harden is carrying them right now. Yeah. I think he's going to do well in the playoffs this year because of the fact that Kyrie Irving is really the go-to guy and he's the setup man, and KD is another go-to guy, and he can just that.
And he finally has finishes. Like you said, like the pressure's off of him now to finish. Because I don't think that, like he said, in the past, Harden was never able to finish it. He wasn't able to bring it home. He wasn't a finisher.
Close out for him.
Yeah. But now you got two legit finishers, which Kyrie's a number one finisher, period. KD's a number one finisher, period. They deadly. They got that mentality. They will finish it. So it's gonna be tough. I mean, and that's the only reason why I said to my son that he had to change his game, because now he has to not have that mentality to try to be the finisher because he has two other finishers.
Yep.
And they're gonna be a tough out. I mean, like I picked the Clippers to beat, but as every day go on, I'm looking at the Nets and I'm watching the Clippers last night lose. And I'm just looking at them like against Dallas last night. I'm just like, dang, like, I don't know, man. I said, I'm going to have to stick with it. I can't change my pick, but, man, I don't know if the Clippers can beat the Nets. I
never thought I would ever say anything like, and this is the negative thing I'll say about what's going on in the Clippers with Kawhi. He said they got to be more consistent, right? So I guess the question I ask is, are you going to play every game? Because that's part of consistency, right?
Yes.
Or you going to load manage? Because you can't expect your team to be better if you're the leader and you're not playing every game. You can't get any continuity if you guys are only playing every 3 or 4 games, or you sit out. So you can't really have it both ways. If you want to load manage, God bless you, load manage, but you can't complain about coming together if you're going to be the leader and not be on the court. That's just simple math to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was one of the main reasons that we started hearing the rumbles outside of their locker room for last season. Yeah. What they said, one of the reasons Montrezl Harrell said that he had enough of it because he's saying Kawhi comes there and basically just spills off his culture, basically taking nights off, taking games off, and load managing, which spilled over to Paul George. And everybody else is looking at them like, y'all supposed to be our 2 best players, and y'all just doing whatever you want to do around here, like, so we can do it too. Mm-hmm. And they got, and as a team, they got laps, and they got ran up out of there.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. So, well,
go ahead, Hawk.
The Suns right now are looking really, really good.
They're 28-12. I was looking at that the other day. I said, "Wait, the Suns are 28-12."
Yeah. You got them, Utah. You got some surprises out there.
Yeah.
And
Dallas is starting to play better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these aren't big market teams. Like there's this I saw an article that was saying I guess we look at LeBron James, AD in LA, you look at the three-headed monster in Brooklyn, like these big markets it's bad for the NBA is basically what they were saying. But then you look at the Phoenix Suns, you look at Utah, you look at Dallas, you see off market teams doing very, very well. Why is that?
I think D Parks brings up a great point. We didn't even talk about him. And Chris Paul is playing MVP basketball too. He is. Because they're not 28-12 just because of Devin Booker. Chris Paul shows you that you can just bring something to the table in maturity and above the neck that you lack in athleticism at this stage of your career, even though he's still a great player and a competitor. He could bring so much more to the court that commands respect and gets people to follow him on the court.
Right.
So, I mean, at 28-12, so the proof is in the pudding. They have most of their same roster. You trade Chris Paul for Kelly Oubre, essentially, right? That's like who you swapped out. And look how they're playing. I mean, Devin Booker is loving life right now. I mean, because he's one of those killers anyway, too, but we don't really know about Devin Booker.
They got a nice young squad out there. They got a nice young squad. And I mean, all of us, have played basketball and still do here and there. And we know that, it can sometimes come down to one play, one thing that either gets you momentum or stops momentum. And Chris Paul is that kind of player that can calm the team down, stop the other team's momentum at a certain point, or either give you the momentum or do that one game saving play. And a lot of times those are the unsung heroes that a lot of people tend to overlook, and stuff that don't even show up on the stat, in the stats, that happen either on the bench or either happen, under the rim, not above the rim, but under the rim. So definitely Chris Paul is, I always felt like Chris Paul, another argument that me and my son had. I told him Chris Paul was going to make a major difference to Phoenix.
Yeah. Good move for them. Good move.
Yeah.
I even like the Luka like conversation kind of goes into two other things I want to talk about when it comes to the NBA right now, what's going on at this point of the season. Luka coached by Rick Carlisle, right? So apparently Rick Carlisle just has a separate set of rules for Luka. And just like you said, KG, about and Hawk, you said it too, about Montrezl Harrell talking about the star getting away with murder, and that's how Doc lost the team. Well, Dallas is in that same scenario to a degree. They're winning some games because they got Porzingis back a little bit, and they're talented. So it has nothing to do with their talent level. But when you allow a superstar to be lazy on defense and not correct them, but you want to be a coach and tell other players what they're not doing when they're dogging it, you're gonna lose people because he's only in his third year. You gotta nip that in the bud right now.
Yeah.
You lose your job. Well, maybe he don't lose his job, but most people would lose their job for it.
And another thing too is that like I was listening to the commentators, like it was like not this game, not last night, but the game before that, where the commentators basically was kind of like hesitating to say Luka's out of shape.
Yeah.
I think it was on TNT with Chick Kenny and Chuck and them. And I'm like, yo, he is. And Luka is out of shape. That's why he can't play D. He's slow out there. And then even last night, I was watching last night with Jeff Van Gundy, and Luka came down and just dribble, head down, just looking for a shot, and then ends up with the clock running out, just throws up a wild shot. And Van Gundy is always say, oh, that's a terrible shot. And he said nothing. And I was just like, yo, man, like, come on, dude. Like, come on.
They don't critique him the right way.
Man, because like he needs to be critiqued just like anybody else is out here doing. And if not, like you saying, Wes, he's going to get away with murder, and it's going to be bad. It's going to create a bad culture.
Yeah. And I think the other piece I was going to go segue into was with the Celtics. It's like kind of the same thing. Like you got two guys again, and we talked about this before. Like Marcus Smart is that player that he's not the most talented player on the team.
No, he's the
but Marcus Smart is that guy that thinks he's as good as everybody else. He's like the Ron Artest as a guard, right?
Yeah.
So when he's on your team and you as a coach don't define roles, you got a guy like Marcus Smart and a guy like Kemba Walker who can go get theirs. You know, they used to being that guy, right? And you got Jaylen Brown and you got Tatum, and you've yet to define who's going to be 1 and who's going to be 2. Now, I know the answer, but Brad Stevens hasn't given the answer. But the problem is still goes back to a player that hasn't even been on Boston. And Brad Stevens lost that team when he decided to go with Gordon Hayward over both of those young boys because that was his guy. And he hasn't gotten the team back since. Tatum and Brown. Brown has gotten better, but Brown is not the 1. Brown has got to be 2. Tatum has to be 1. You have to define their roles to get the best out of that whole squad. Because if you define Tatum's role, Kemba Walker will know what he's got to do. If you define Tatum's role, Marcus Smart will fall into his role. They don't want to do more. They feel like they have to because no one knows what to do. That's Boston's problem.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well,
and then you got on the East. Speaking of Boston, you got the Heat coming up now. The Heat is playing very good right now, and you already know the Heat got some rough riders. So when it get down to playoff basketball,
they gonna ball.
The Heat's gonna ball.
The Heat's gonna ball.
You mentioned Gordon Hayward.
Yeah,
he's in Charlotte right now.
Yep,
he's getting busy.
He's playing well in that and because he's in that situation is better for him. I didn't say Gordon Hayward was bad, but he hadn't played in 18 months to almost really he was hurt. And those players were the players that got you to the playoffs.
That's right.
Those guys. Yeah. And when he came back, you never defined who they were. And they're young, so they're still trying to establish themselves. You know it's all about Brandon in the NBA.
Gordon Hayward came the same year as Kyrie Irving, right?
Yeah.
And you know what, Wes? I never picked up on that or even thought about it, but I think like now I'm thinking about it, you're totally right. Like that Brad Stevens, that's where he messed up at, because you got to think Gordon Hayward last year, I think it was last year was coming off that gruesome injury, man. Yeah. So basically, like you're saying, he's over there now, and Brad Stevens is just catapulting him because that's his boy. And in Tatum and them are like basically like, well, not last year, the year before. It was just basically like, nah, like I ain't going for that. I ain't going for that. And I be watching Boston. I was just trying to figure this out. Just like, dang, they got some ballers over here, man. Because Kemba Walker could get buckets.
He can.
You know, Marcus Smart be out there playing hard, although he was hurt for a minute, for a stretch. So that kind of hurt.
You know, during stretches in this year, Kemba Walker was like I see them come up short.
And that goes back to what Wes is saying. He don't really know his role. He don't know what it is. But when he get out there, he's basically out there just going for his. Basically, like, I'm gonna show you I can get buckets. Like what you act like I'm a scrub.
They look like OKC back with Westbrook and Durant. 1-4. Everybody top of the key, 1-4. You go get your bucket. They just take turns. So Kemba is up there 1-4. Tatum is up there 1-4. Jaylen Brown 1-4. Clear out, go get buckets. That's not basketball. That's one-on-one. It doesn't work, especially in the postseason, because you can target in on one player. And that was Oklahoma City's offense. They didn't run anything else. They just cleared out for Westbrook and cleared out for Durant. So that's the whole thing. And you know who else is doing the same thing? And nobody wants to really talk about it. Stan Van Gundy is doing the same thing with Zion and Ingram. They played 1-4. They cleared out for Zion. They cleared out for Ingram, and it does not work.
And Milwaukee's doing it still with Giannis. They got her running a point basically, like get out the way, and they like that's not gonna work in the playoffs. They're gonna build the wall, and that's why he always getting all these charges. And they always end up in foul trouble and it's just like it's not gonna work. He's trying to work on that jump shot, but I mean, I see they just picked up PJ Tucker down there now, so that could help him with, especially from a Rough Rider standpoint, give him a little bit of a lot more toughness, and also people that he can kick the three out to. and also somebody that can help them defensively, where Giannis don't have to get, on that guy down there, or Giannis could play the 5 and PJ could play the 4, or vice versa. Because PJ was playing center sometime down there in Houston when they was going small ball. So somebody said, break it down, young Wesley. There you go.
That's Big Chuck. Yeah. Wait, let me give a shout out to my man Chuck Keegan. Columbia High School girls went undefeated this year. As well, the coach salute to the coach.
Yeah, salute.
Okay,
Chuck
so
Keegan.
Coach Chuck.
Yep.
Yeah,
okay. Congrats.
High school girls.
Chuck went to Maine with Peanut.
Huh? Yeah, he went to Maine
with Maine with Peanut. They played on the same football team. Chuck came in a couple years after us, but they ended up on the same football team.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And real quick, back to the MVP run. We had Embiid get that injury. So what do you guys think? How you think that's going to affect the Sixers like right now?
That's just the problem with when you fall in love with the Sixers, you got to remember Embiid is your girlfriend.
That's true.
It's like, man, he is something. I mean, he's playing so great too. You just wish it didn't happen that way. You hope he's going to be back in time, and he's going to be right for the playoffs, So
it feels like the light bulb finally turned on with Embiid, and he just said, you know what, I'm going to commit all season, not just here and there. Like it was feeling like he was committed to really go out just every night, every game, and put it in and just put in work. And then that's just crazy for that injury to happen. I mean that. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely going to hurt his MVP chances because he's he's out for a couple of more weeks now. So I don't know. Like that's going to be tough.
It's going to be real tough
for him to win MVP. Put it like that.
Definitely for the MVP. That's
right.
That's going to be an interesting ballot because everybody's had their little run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people have had their run.
I'm gonna have to go right now with James Harden, just because what he's doing in Brooklyn. And I was fighting it. But he put up,
you know what,
a 42-point triple-double last night, and I was like,
right.
Come on, dude,
but Hawk, are we not gonna penalize him slightly for what starting off the way he did in Houston?
Yeah, I want to penalize him slightly, but what he's doing in Brooklyn has overcome the penalty. Like he got a flag.
I think ultimately it will, but I don't think yet. Not yet.
Man,
he's putting up numbers though. He's straight up putting up numbers, but I don't think you can't wipe that out yet.
He's leading the league in assists, bro.
Yeah,
with 10 assists a game, bro.
Yeah,
like you can't. That's amazing.
And he's out there every night while KD and Kyrie are out. So
I can't argue that. I mean,
exactly.
He's playing MVP basketball.
I ride with LeBron. I want to see LeBron get the MVP, but LeBron's not doing what James Harden is doing in Brooklyn right now. He's not. And he's doing. LeBron's doing a great job. Not mad at LeBron, considering AD's not there. He had other players, key players that have been missing. Caruso was out for a stretch.
Wait. Can we not say that as a Laker fan? Can we not say Caruso not playing is a factor?
I can see you saying Schroeder, but not Caruso.
I was getting there.
Not Caruso. Come on, man. We're not going.
I mean, there was a bunch of people who was missing from the.
I know. But
now you doing now you doing like Wes said. You doing the Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless tried to say Houston was going to be hurt because Daniel House was out.
Oh man!
Come on, man! Not
all right, but all that to say, it's not what James Harden is doing in Brooklyn.
No, it's not. It's not. You know what? And LeBron obviously had it on silver plate, to be honest, because he win or lose, he had the table set for him to go out there and put up video game numbers, and people would have been like, "Oh, at least he gave them this." If he was still out there, whether they won or lost, without AD and he putting up 40 a night or 45 here in triple doubles, he would still have that argument. His numbers are, I mean, they're still good. I mean, I guess they're still really good. I guess he set the bar so high that when you do regular numbers for LeBron, you just look at him like, oh, he ain't doing good or whatever. But I'm saying if he put up those numbers, like look, basically right now, James Harden is doing video game numbers, man.
And its impact on the game. Like James Harden's impact on the Brooklyn Nets is translating into wins. LeBron too, in a different way, but it was a stretch of L's they caught where, LeBron was supposed to put up video game numbers and he didn't.
Yeah, but also too, the Brooklyn Nets early when Harden got there took some L's too, though. They took some ugly L's too.
When he first got there, chemistry.
They lost to the Wizards. They lost a couple of games up in there, man.
Right, but right now it's clicking. Like he don't need Kyrie, he don't need KD.
14-1 right now, and they 14-1 in the last 15 games, and in that 15-game stretch, Harden is averaging a 25-point triple double.
Wow.
That's the
video game numbers, man.
Yeah, so I wanted to penalize him, but that right there trumps my penalty.
Well, how about this question I heard today? Since we talk about Harden and LeBron, and they get triple doubles, and they said Saturday, I think it was, or this week, they had 5 triple doubles in one night, and that was a record. And last night they topped it with 6. So the record only lasted like 3 days. Damn. So the question was, are triple doubles watered down now? And in my opinion, I don't think any numbers are watered down when you're trying to win a basketball game.
Not at all.
So when you're trying to win a basketball game, you can say if people say, "Oh, the centers move out the way so guards can get rebounds and all this other stuff." These guys today are so superiorly gifted athletically, in their way the way they can do things in the game. That you got to just give them a little credit towards the time. The game has changed, it's faster and everything like that. But you can't get a triple double just because you can't chase stats because stats help you win.
Right.
Yeah.
And also too, you got to look at it too. The evolution of the game. The game has changed. There's a lot more 3-pointers, which means there's a lot of long rebounds. Yeah. When the long rebounds tend to bounce out to the guards.
Yeah, that's true.
So the center is under the basket. The ball's going to bounce further out from them long shots. So
everybody rebounds now because the center's shooting threes.
Yeah.
So anybody can crash the boards. It's just a different game. So I don't think that. I think it's kind of disrespectful to the players. Let's talk about the era's different. It was harder for these guys to get triple doubles back in the day because the game was a little slower. It was more of a possession type game, and centers played traditional post up basketball. You had your power forward. Your power forwards were like Charles Oakley and Chuck Robinson. They stayed within the box. They didn't
get rebounds and boxing out.
The paint. Now you got. Embiid that he gets a lot of rebounds, but a lot of times, like your center, maybe sticking the other center, and he's sticking Vucevic, and Vucevic out here shooting threes. So Embiid's way out there. Like somebody else is going to get the rebound now, most likely.
And they started saying it when Westbrook won the MVP, and then he averaged triple double for 2 straight years. And they're like, oh well, he's a stat. Look, no, who else? Like I can't understand when people say. When someone does something great, they're like, "Well, he did it in this type of basketball." Who else does it? Like, who else averages triple double for 2?
He went from Oklahoma, then he went to Houston.
Yeah.
Now he's in Washington D.C. putting up triple numbers. Still doing it.
That's what he does.
You can't discount that talent. You can't discount those stats, but you can't.
I mean, and the thing is just like he's a combo guard, so he's a big point guard. That can rebound, and that's what the NBA has become now. Like the time, like there's very you don't have a bunch of small point guards out there anymore. Like Dennis, like Derek just said, Draymond Green, another one. He's your power forward running a point. He's a walking triple double.
But Draymond Green's triple doubles are kind of like the old school triple doubles because Draymond Green is good from the neck up.
Yeah,
he's just a smart player, so he's gonna get but in this game he can go get stats too because he's smart. Like he can fill the box score up in so many ways. But these other guys are doing it on straight athleticism.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I just think it's a tribute to them. To be honest with you.
No, I totally agree with you, Wes. So let's switch gears, right? Let's do 2 things. Let's switch the conversation and let's bring Cliff in. And just to let you guys know, it's almost 8:00. And we still got a lot to cover.
Yeah, we do, because we got to get into a lot. I got a couple of things that we definitely need to talk about.
Okay, excellent. Let's bring Spliffy in. What up, Spliff? Zach's Master Spliff.
The Zach Master.
How you fellas doing?
All right.
Great.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Are we ready for this double A or what?
Oh, not yet. Not yet. We got some other things to talk about. But you were sitting in the corner looking crazy. So I was like, let me bring my man in. You know what I mean? So he can feel the convo.
So let me just do the handoff. Let me give you guys like the table. Like run with it, Hawk and Cliff. Run with your Cowboys. You got Dak. How do y'all feel?
Well, let me go, Hawk. I'll go first. To be honest with you, I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, yo. I ain't falling for the bait. I'm not sold. I don't think anything has changed. I'm really more impressed with what Washington is doing over there and building a roster. All we did is sign Dak.
Do you think
he didn't do anything else?
Do you think he's worth the money that you spent?
Yes.
I think we were boxed into a corner, but I absolutely think he's worth the money because again, these numbers will pale in comparison to when we look at next year's increased salary cap numbers. They're gonna Jerry Jones gave him that backhanded compliment and basically said anything that he ever worth owning he overpaid for. Well, the value of this contract is going to look small once one, the NFL salary cap goes up, but two, once all these other players re-up. So again, what they got him for, what they paid, I don't think they overpaid for him. I think right now it looks big, but I don't think overall, they overpaid.
Well, all right. So he got what? A 4-year, $160 million contract.
Mm-hmm.
$126 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
$75 million the first year.
Mm-hmm.
But only $22 million of it is against the cap the first year. But it goes up the next years, though. It gets crazy, like maybe doubles next year. So, I mean, even when the salary cap going up like after next year, like that's still, like you said, like you saying it's not going to hurt. I mean, it might not hurt this season coming up, but the following, the subsequent ones, it's going to hurt against that cap.
The one thing, and Hawk, I'm not sure if you heard anything about it, but the one thing people are saying is that Jerry Jones, he has some inside information. He knows where the cap numbers are going, basically. That's why he creatively and he structured the contract that way because of it. So again, we don't know where it's going, but I'm not so fooled to think that just because we signed him, we gonna win a chip. Just because, I mean, listen, if Quinn can do something to shore up that defense, if we can put a scheme in that utilize our players because we got them all signed, then maybe we'll do something. But again, we're gonna be hard to stop. But who are we gonna stop? That's the whole thing.
Yeah. Big shout out to Donna Torrance in the building. She says, "What's up, Kay?"
Well, hey, what's up, Don? So I mean, hopefully some of the money that he saved on the cap, that you guys go out and fix that defense. Man.
I think the biggest problem in Dallas is Jerry Jones. I think McCarthy's McCarthy, and I think a lot of their lack of success has been definitely the coaching and just the way the whole franchise is run. So I don't really expect much out of Dallas, but I don't think that has anything to do with Dak getting his money because of the value he brings. He in the market, what the market says he gets, it makes sense to me. So,
I mean, hey, listen, y'all, you guys are, one of the richest franchises in sports, and then, these Dallas Cowboys. So, I mean, I ain't mad at Dak getting his money or whatever, but y'all like, hey, man, I'm the Grim Reaper, man. Y'all ain't winning no
man.
y'all ain't winning no chips, though. I'm sorry, man.
Well, the one thing.
Go ahead, Cliff.
No, well, what I was gonna say is that I think we're ways away, but we have players. We have now a new defensive coordinator. Now we're gonna see if we can put a scheme together. Because again, if we can win the NFC East, which we should, then we're hosting a playoff game. So it's a matter of, okay, how do we win one playoff game? Because we're nowhere near contending for a Super Bowl.
I don't think they're going to the playoffs.
I mean, Washington is going to be tough, but again, with that offense, we're going to be tough to stop regardless, the Cowboys. But again, it depends on
The
what
Cowboys.
we can do.
You had that same offense last year at the beginning of the year, and
the Cowboys are gonna stop themselves, bro.
Listen,
and it's not gonna be Dak. Dak gonna put up all the numbers in the world.
It's not gonna be
it's
Dak.
Still
man.
gonna be. It's not gonna be Dak. It's gonna be.
But I like how KG plays it because he's a sly Steeler fan. I be studying all of them. I know all their movements. I know how they all navigate. I study all the Steeler fans. I know how they act. I know how they get down.
Listen, misery loves company. We gonna stink this year, so I need y'all to be right with me, man.
Yeah, we gonna be right there.
All Steeler fan friends, and trust me, I know how they get down all the time. Listen, Dak Prescott, like. I just laugh at this whole thing with the contract because did anybody say anything when Kirk Cousins got $84 million guaranteed on a 3-year deal? No one said cool. Did anybody say anything when Tony Romo got paid? He was the highest paid quarterback. Did anybody say anything when Jimmy Garoppolo was the highest paid quarterback? Did anybody say anything when Carson Wentz got paid? Did anybody say anything when Jared Goff? We didn't spend a nickel minute on sports that are talking about their contract. Dak Prescott is the only one we talking this big money with. Because they want to have something to talk about, partly because he's a Cowboy and the people hate the Cowboys. Another part is some other stuff that we don't, we know what that go, how that gets down. But the man getting 126 million because that's what the market says. Period.
Yeah, but speaking of on that note, and talking about how we get down.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't tune in to the earlier broadcast, but what do y'all think about what's going on with Deshaun Watson? And now all these other ladies
out of nowhere,
apparently
out of nowhere,
ahead and accusing him. Yeah, and I think it's all orchestrated. I think it's all people of Houston sullying his name.
They are.
To basically, because this is ridiculous.
Wes, you out there, Wes, right? You out there, man.
It's an absolute sham. Something similar happened to the running back that was out here years ago. What's his name?
Avion.
Daggone it. He was their star running back.
I know you talking about.
With the Miami?
The what?
Arian Foster.
Arian Foster.
Yep.
He was talking a little different. Arian Foster.
Very pro black.
He's a different dude. Yeah. And met the guy a couple of times. He used to come to our office to get tickets for basketball games from one of my managers. But he's a nice guy. He didn't like something and happened within the organization. Next thing you know, he got a baby mama. It just popped up like all of a sudden. So, and they put it out there. And Houston media is horrible. So they're doing Deshaun very dirty right now. They had to get something on him because Deshaun Watson is pretty much a pristine brother in this community. And people love him out here. I mean, I know a lot of fans that are extremely upset and they want to see him go.
So do you know what the pushback looks like in Houston? Is there pushback, or is it just?
I think the stuff that's going on is has a lot to do with what's been going on for the past year. The culture. And I think somebody said the wrong things to Deshaun, and it can't be healed. So because he's not just the way people talk about him, it had to be something where they disrespected him, and more than just not letting him pick the groceries. It was deeper than that. So but the way they're doing him right now is dirty. They should just try to let the dude is not going to play. He's going to hold out.
Yeah, one of the things they're talking about now, the possible trade is a swap for him and over in Arizona.
Oh, yeah. Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray and him swapping teams and bringing Deshaun back over there, with DeAndre Hopkins.
Wow. That would be beast.
It'd be good. I just want to see him play because he's worth the money too that they gave him. But it's just sad because
can you imagine? If that becomes true and happens? Arizona also got AJ Green over there.
Yeah,
that would be crazy.
AJ Green and Hopkins.
Yeah,
what's crazy to me though, like when you think of how bad a place the Houston franchise is. And that you put now Kyler Murray into very, basically a bad situation.
You don't want to wish that on him either.
Yeah, you don't want to wish that on him either. Like that's a waste of talent because the organization is not going to be able to make him, allow him to blossom.
Houston sports is in a pickle, and the baseball
Rockets.
team, the Rockets have lost 18 games in a row. I mean, it's a shambles right now. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
I know John Wall sitting on that bench like, man, and just shaking his head like, my goodness, man.
But what about the coach, man? Silas. I mean, a brother waits all his life to get a job, and this is what he's going into.
20 years he waited to get hired, and this is what he walks into a mutiny. It's horrible.
And the owner doesn't care about basketball. He just wants he's a bottom line guy. Timo Fertitta. He's a restaurant dude out here, and a casino guy. So he really don't really care about basketball. He just want to know where's his money being spent. So it's a bad look all the way around, man.
All right, so Cliff.
Yes, sir.
Question for the group. We round robin. It was KG.
Well, with the theme being on the March Madness, I want to know each of y'all to give me a sleeper pick. A sleeper, someone who could, either a big upset or like a small upset that can cause some traction.
What, first round or just
first round? First round, or if you got someone, because everybody's on Gonzaga, but if you got a no-name team that gets maybe 1 or 2 wins, or a non-blue chipper that goes to the Final Four.
Does the University of Houston count as a sleeper pick?
They've been balling all year. I mean, that's a legitimate question. But Wes, I will say this: if you picking them to go to the Final Four, that's that would account for.
That's what I'm doing. I got them. I got U of H in the Final Four.
Okay, that's a big one.
You said go out, right? I got it out there. That's out there.
What about you, Hawk?
Does G-Town count?
Yeah. Now you talking about just one win, or you talking about getting through the weekend?
Getting to the Final Four.
Okay.
I'm riding with Pat.
Okay.
G-Town, baby. I'm riding with Pat. Even though he ain't standing up for Oakley, I'm riding with Pat.
What about you, KG?
Well,
while you thinking about it, I'll go first. Because I'm going to give you one that I think is going to go far, but I'm going to give you my first round sleepers. And I'm going to start off with the theme of what y'all were talking about, triple doubles. Because there's a cat y'all probably never heard of. This cat is, his name is Chandler Vaudrin. Cat out of Winthrop. Mm-hmm. Okay? Don't sleep. He's that type of cat that averages a triple double in college. And he may carry those cats. And they got Villanova first round.
And I think that can be. I'm just looking at that, and that's the first one I zeroed in on. Like that can be an upset.
Yeah, that can happen. And not only may they get Villanova that game one, they can probably advance to the through the weekend. But there's another one that I want you to keep an eye out on too. Ohio has a point guard, NBA bound, and they got Virginia. But see, the optics on that is the fact that Virginia basically haven't practiced all week, and they have to test out even to get to Indianapolis, and then they'll have 1 day of practice, and then they'll play the game. And these cats been balling all week, and they won that Ohio Valley Conference. I'm sorry, that MAC conference. They've been balling, so that's another sleeper. And then you got 2 other ones, big dogs that you need to look at. You guys should pay attention to. Grand Canyon, they're getting 14.5 points and may cover, but could possibly win. They're playing Iowa because they got 2 7-footers. Mm-hmm. So anybody who's thinking about Garza doing this thing, UC Santa Barbara got 2 7-footers waiting on him. And then Hawk said Georgetown. I also love Georgetown. UC Santa Barbara, Ohio, Winthrop. Those are my round one upsets. And then a sleeper that may surprise some people and get to the Final Four. Watch out for LSU. I like them a lot too. I like LSU.
I'm not saying to get to the Final Four, but I think somebody that's going to do okay in this whole thing might be Oklahoma State.
Yeah, that's it. Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham is a beast. I think he's the projected #1 pick, and he gets buckets. So you know when it comes down to the tournament, you got to get your buckets. Watch out.
He a closer.
Oh, he is a closer.
Yeah.
I got a question. I got something interesting for you guys. The East bracket. Remember we talked about maybe a couple of segments ago about how many, there were only like 14 African-American coaches in the NCAA, and I think 7 on the women's side and 7 on the men's side.
Okay.
Something like that. Well, there's 6 in the East bracket.
Wow. That's crazy.
But let me ask you this. We were arguing, debating with a couple of my friends this week.
Wow, that's
crazy. Said, why did they put all 6 in one bracket?
Yeah.
When the East is in the house, oh my God, danger.
We know why. They don't want to all brother Final Four. That's all that is.
Have them eliminate each other over there.
That's
question, Wes.
You got Pat. You got Juwan Howard. You got Leonard Hamilton from Florida State. You got Shaka Smart in Texas.
Yeah.
You got Avery Johnson in Alabama. And I want to say the other one is UNC Greensboro. So within that whole bracket, you got 6 brother coaches in the same bracket.
Crazy.
That's suspect. And again, if you look, the first 4 you named or 5 you named could do damage. You know what I'm saying? So if you spread them all out, what would be the nightmare probably of the tournament committee? Having all of them meet up together.
Well, so what is the process for filling out the bracket? How they choose what region? Is there
I don't really know how they go about I know how they pick out the first 4 because they give everybody, they try to be as close to your, like Gonzaga got the West because that's the Western team. They put Michigan as 1 in the East. And I would assume that's because that's because of Michigan and the other 2 teams may be more location-wise, they might be closer. So,
but all of that should be moot this year because everything is being played in Indianapolis. You know what I'm saying? This would be the one year where they would be able to legitimately make everything even all the way around. Because again, that was one of the complaints in years past, the fact that uneven regions, and they would blame it on the fact of travels. Well, this is the only year where they can legitimately, everything should be even. It's everything is in Indy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's so telling.
Yeah. And also a little nugget on that for all the people who may be, placing some bets on this tournament. It is all in Indianapolis. And again, most of these are like gyms. I know there's a Finkel Fieldhouse. There is Lucas Oil Stadium, but they're mostly small gyms. So again, the scoring may be a lot higher than in most cases in the tournament. Because usually in a tournament, scoring goes down because it's more defense and people are not familiar with each other. But these are smaller gyms. And
a lot of them tend to say that the optics of the gym, because they're so big. Some of the places are so big that the shooting of it, just watching it and looking and trying to get used to the gyms start getting a little weird too, especially when you get to the Final Four.
So let me give a shout out to my man Main Event who just hopped in the building. Big shout out to him. Also, Derek Parks, every week that brother's here supporting the show. Chuck Keegan is in the building.
What up, Wally?
Chuck called you out on your facts.
I'm looking for Avery Johnson. I'm looking for 6 coaches, and it's not Avery Johnson. It's Nate Oates.
Somebody named Nate Oates. Somebody named Nate Oates.
One right now.
Errol Flanagan is in the building. Peace to the God. Tasha Jackson, salute. Donna, of course, we shouted you out earlier. Nice to have you, Donna. Bert Sells, Estot, everybody that comes in and supports. Parnell, what up, bro? Benny Blanco, and my cousin William Green. We want to shout y'all out for supporting and riding with us every Thursday. Just as a reminder, next week we're going to do this on Wednesday, the 24th, with Tamika Dixon. She's going to be coming in to represent for Women's Month, and that should be exciting. Just wanted to let y'all know while y'all here. Mark that on your calendar. But let's continue on with the conversation, brothers.
Speaking of Alabama, my nephew plays for Iona, Asante Gist, and they play Alabama Saturday, first round.
Go Iona.
Okay.
Yeah, for Iona. So got a tough one. And you know, Alabama's point guard is actually the guy, the little Jelly Fam guy, Javon Quigley from around here. So the Jersey cat. So you got two guys going at each other.
Yeah. Jersey produces a lot of talent. You know, big shout out to Jersey. Go New Jersey.
They get them all to go to Rutgers.
Right. Actually, my other nephew, Asante's little brother, he just committed to Rutgers football. So
salute. Yeah.
He just committed.
Tell Chuck Keegan that it's Johnny Jones. So that was my mistake. It's still 6, but it's Johnny Jones. So he's correct on Alabama, and it's the Texas Southern coach is also African American.
Okay.
So,
and I think did they win today? Oh no, they lost today actually.
So that is 5.
Yeah, it's 5. Yeah, because I think they played Mount St. Mary's. Yeah, Mount St. Mary's in a playing game, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we still talking bracketology?
Hold up. You talking about what? Texas Southern?
Yeah.
Texas Southern beat Mount St. Mary's. 60.
Oh, they won.
They're in. Okay, they're good.
Okay.
Yeah,
they won.
He's still alive.
Good.
They had a talk about Pitino the other day, too. There was some folks saying how they just wish that he didn't get another job and how terrible it was to see him get that job and several other candidates, especially minority candidates, didn't get a first shot. And it's despicable that he got the job. But with that said, you can't punish the kids and with the job that he's done at Iona. So, but I was interested in how people feel about even him still being able to work based on the stuff that he's done in several schools.
Well, he has a horrible track record.
Yeah, but what with his pedigree, a school like Iona is going to be first in line to jump all over him. Exactly. And to his credit, he's obviously a bomb coach who immediately took them to the tournament. And now what?
He's a coach, no doubt.
Well, and not to discredit him at all, but Iona also got to the tournament last year without him.
They did, exactly.
Yeah. And that's not to discredit Pitino because he is a great coach. But like you said, Cliff, Iona is definitely a school like that. One of those schools that, a guy like Pitino, comes available, they're going to jump on a guy like that. They're not even care too much of what their jacket is. Like, they're just like, hey, I need him. I mean, I can use him, especially for recruiting.
Absolutely. That's the only reason why you're going to bring him in. Obviously, he knows how to coach, but who's not going to want to play? If you're like a fringe player, borderline, like a real top powerhouse, and then, you're being recruited by Rick Pitino, you're going to go there.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah.
It makes sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, I spent, like I said, it's been 30 years since Rutgers has been in the tournament. I was in school when they was in the tournament the last time. So it's been plenty of coaches I wanted to see them get. Like, I was all over Bob Huggins. They could have had him. They didn't want to spend the money. Back in the day, before Huggins became West Virginia Huggins, he was Cincinnati Huggins, and they were looking at him. They didn't want to pay the money.
Well, Rutgers may get one this tournament though. That first game, they may pull one out. They could be Clemson.
Man. I had a friend. He wanted to bet $50 on Rutgers, and the payout is $40. I said, man, I'll just give you $40, man. Don't jinx it. Man, I'll just give you $40. Don't do that to us, man. We waited too long.
It's gonna be exciting though, man. I mean, this is definitely the time for exciting basketball, man. And this is the time we wait for every year for that frenzy, man. Like
March Madness.
This is really it. This is it.
I was upset today because I took a half day today, thinking it was Thursday, Friday, like it always is, but they do it.
Yeah, it normally is. That was weird, yo.
Yeah, yeah.
It's normally on Thursdays, you know. And I was looking at the schedule, and I was just like looking like that. Who plays Thursday? So, but they got the first the first 4 in or whatever they doing. They do the play-in games today, but then the frenzy starts tomorrow.
Yep.
Well, they can go Friday, Saturday, then Sunday, Monday now, because remember, none of them are leaving that bubble area.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be there all week.
Yeah.
You know, so there's no, you know, the weekend slate to travel, all of that. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't we? I mean, I know we're going to try to do some type of bracketology, but there's no need to go. We could just say either Final Four, or we could just get to the Sweet 16 and make. So if anybody kind of loses all they picks, we can get back in it after 16.
Well, I got my Final Four. You know, I'm ready to rock. You know,
I don't. I need a rain date on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still trying to. I got the chart up right now. I'm trying to study.
I'll be winging it for real right now at this point.
Yeah,
at this point I will be winging it.
So maybe go to 16.
Who you got in the Final Four, Cliffy?
I have Gonzaga, LSU, Ohio State, and Oklahoma State.
Okay, I got Gonzaga, Alabama, Baylor, and Houston.
Oh, you just all over Houston, huh?
I'm all over. Listen,
Baylor and Houston, huh?
I'm going Texas because Baylor had a great team last year, and they just didn't get to play. And they were better last year than they played this year. But I just like if Houston was another team, I just like teams that have sophomores, juniors, and seniors, man.
Yeah.
And they rocked out last year. And when you have those older dudes that they just playing because they playing like this is it for them. They're not about the NBA. Maybe one guy might get into the league.
Right.
It's a good recipe for the tournament. That's what.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're hungry. Definitely. Yeah, but everybody hungry this year though.
Oh yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Last year no tournament. Oh yeah.
Absolutely. This gonna be a good
teams are coming to ball. Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a good.
So we just jump in the Final Four here.
No. We because you got to really know the bracket to jump the Final Four. Okay. If you don't know who's playing who, you can't really like.
Yeah.
I gotta text mine to you, Hawk. I'll do it tonight. I'll do it before the game start tomorrow. I'm not gonna wait till the game start though. Okay. I gotta do it before, but I gotta actually look at the whole bracket and just say, all right, I'm gonna go with this, I'm gonna go with that. But I can tell you this, definitely Gonzaga. I got Gonzaga in there. I definitely have them.
I mean, I kind of know who I'm fucking with though.
Derek Parker makes a good point. We can create a bracket and call it Mad Izm bracket, and we can do it, and our fans can do it too.
Yeah.
So that's what you're gonna do, Wes. You gonna
ESPN. I'll sign up the ESPN bracket, and I'll call it Mad Izm, and I'll just send it to your email, Hawk. And I don't know how, and people can just log on. Maybe I'm not like a guru on this, so I would assume that you can go in and look up groups and find Mad Izm, and maybe that's how it works.
I'm not sure how it works, but I would imagine it's something like how.
I'll do that. I can do that before tomorrow.
Yeah, you just have to go and click on the group and then join the group, and then it'll tally everybody within the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I want to shout out my neighbor across the street to Austin Williams. He plays for Hartford.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they got Baylor first.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But Baylor's been sleeping though. Don't Baylor hasn't come back the same.
No, they're not.
When they went on break. So again, you want to hope Baylor comes back like they were balling early on in the season. But if not, you know, tell your boy Hartford they can get him. They can catch those cats.
They were talking about Hartford on Sunday. I was listening to a podcast Sunday morning, and they brought up Hartford playing against Baylor. They brought up several players on Hartford that might be able to make a name for themselves. They said it's gonna be a tall glass of water. No. But they said everybody's up for grabs. Everybody.
Yeah. I think I know who my Final Four is though.
Okay.
Who you got? Who you got?
Gonzaga, Villanova, Georgetown, Tennessee.
Okay. You going Big East? You going Ed Pinckney, Patrick Ewing? You going local on Tennessee? I already know that. And Gonzaga.
Yeah.
doing is like,
go volunteers.
and that's part of like it's like part of me part of me is I could tell you now, like I said, I know I definitely got Gonzaga up in there, and part of me is probably going to come back with Michigan just for the love for my boys in Michigan. So it might most likely that matter of fact, let's just book those two at least for now. I'm definitely doing that.
I like Michigan, but them without Livers, their guard, it's gonna be, they're gonna have to make up a lot from missing him. But
like I said, I'm following my heart on that. I'm not making sense out of it. I'm just following my heart. Like
I'm doing, just following my heart, Georgetown for nostalgia. Tennessee is the hometown.
Yeah.
Gonzaga because they the favorite. And Villanova just because Villanova. Can't sleep on Villanova.
It's funny that hometown pick because I looked at it, right. So I had Tennessee winning their first game, and based on I'm rooting for them for the same reasons, right? But then they go up against Cade Cunningham in round 2, and I just had to stop it there. I was like, wow, that's gonna be a tough one. So I had to go Cunningham on that one.
The head took over for the heart.
But but no, it might not work because it's a 4 and a 5 game. It's a 4 and a 5 seed if they play each other, so it's not like it can't happen.
It can't, but
But he just looked like he's ready for the tournament. Like he just looked like this player looks like he's tournament ready.
Yeah.
And just as a disclaimer, like I'm totally ignorant to college basketball at this point. So, Derek Parks is like, wow, hot. That Kush must be incredible. You know what I'm saying? It's Mad Izm SPORTS, you gotta live on the edge. You gotta live on the edge,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you guys do that, but there it is.
That's funny. But I'll set that up, and we'll let everybody, whoever want to join that, can jump in there.
Yeah.
So can I ask another question? I want to just jump back to football real quick.
Please.
What do you guys think about Cam Newton back in New England?
I like it. I think it's a good play for him. It would be stupid for him to leave a system and try to go into a third system in 3 years. Give him another year. Belichick went out there and got him some weapons, got him 2 good tight ends and a wide receiver, even though Aguilar drops a lot of passes. But I like it overall. I think Cam's gonna have a better year than he did last year.
I think that Cam would like to be back there. I was kind of shocked that they brought him back because I didn't think Cam had a really good season this year. I just thought, although he did go through COVID and a lot of things, but I just watched a lot of Cam throwing a lot of balls down at the ankles and below the knees and just missing guys. And I just was like, dag, man. Like, but then again, he was coming off the shoulder injury, and maybe he just needed a season to work out the kinks, and maybe it'll work out.
He looked good the first 3 games, and then when he got COVID, he just never. When he came back, he was just never the same.
Yeah. But with that being said, though, it seems like the acquisition of these 2 tight ends may be like Josh may be changing up the scheme there. Short passes and all of that. Because you're right.
That's what it sounds like, a lot of running the football.
Yep. Because Cam, like you said, his arm did not look live at all.
No, he looked, sounds like a lot of running the football.
I think he's going to be better. I think it was the best. I mean, from a standpoint for Cam, again, trying to go into a new system and learn it, and just go under the microscope as it is. You might as well stay with the best coach that you can probably stay with, just to kind of shield you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's going to protect you as much as he can. Yeah. So I think it's smart.
I think it's about to be a shit show in New England. I think they're about to be the new Dallas Cowboys. I look at, again, ownership and what Kraft, the controversies he's been involved in over the years. I think Tom Brady understood there was a culture that wasn't going to breed winning. Cam Newton is like I think he's past his time. I think Cam is past his time. Holding on to him is just like, we don't know what to do, so fuck it. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, you watch what they do. First of all, I think they have the 15th pick, but the bigger question is what's going to happen with Mac Jones, that Alabama quarterback? Because again, Belichick and Saban are boys. You know what I'm saying? And they always look out for each other as far as players. And if Belichick is legitimately looking for the next Brady and is hearing all the right things from Nick Saban at Alabama, watch to see what happens. Watch to see where Mac Jones land. Because again, who knows what Cam could be? Cam could just be a short-term option.
I think you're right. I think that Cam is the security blanket. And they're actually gonna make another move, like at least in the draft. They're gonna draft the quarterback, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't say they were gonna win a Super Bowl with Cam, but I don't think it was smart for Cam to leave.
Not definitely.
How was their defense last year overall?
They weren't that great.
They were middle of the pack, but they had 4 or 5 defensive starters opt out.
Yeah,
seven.
Seven. Okay, yeah.
Yes, 7 of them opt out, and then they just in free agency, I think, just signed like 4 or 5 new ones.
5 guys,
yeah. So they're gonna be a lot better on defense. Now, Cam just got to get it together, man. And New England's gonna be a whole different team this year. They definitely ain't gonna be what they were last year.
Let me tell you, who got the most pressure at the quarterback spot this year, in my opinion. Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, you were 12 years in the league. They traded a Super Bowl quarterback and first-round picks for you after 12 seasons, and you never won a playoff game. You got a lot to prove. Trust me.
That's crazy.
A lot. And he has an injury history, too. So,
yeah.
Good luck with that one, man.
How old is he? 34?
Well, he's in his 12th year. I don't know how old he is, but he's 20. He's in his 12th season.
Yeah, I think he's 33, 34, around there. But Wentz has some pressure on him as well. Wentz has got that ready-made team in Baltimore. I mean, and Indianapolis that is built to win.
Yeah, so, they got a good defense, and they got some offensive weapons out there in Indy. They got a good team.
I could be, I like, like they said, misery likes company. KG, what y'all gonna do at quarterback?
Hey, I told you, man. Like, listen, man. Hey, man.
Oh no.
Listen, man. We're gonna take a year off, man. That's it. Man.
I don't think it's still gonna be that bad.
We lost Bud Dupree. He went to Tennessee. And that's just Devin Bush. Hopefully, Devin Bush will come back okay, and so that'll get one of our other linebackers back. So we'll see. Most likely, we'll draft another one this year, or pick one up in in the draft or something like that. So we'll see. But that's the defense. Offense. I mean, we're about to lose Juju too. We're gonna lose Juju.
Oh yeah,
Juju. That's my
we're gonna lose Juju. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's Steelers, man. Like, I don't know, man. It just seemed like every time it's time to re-sign somebody, man, they just don't. They don't do it. They just they get their first little rookie contract run out of them, and then they just let them go.
That's true. I've watched it. John, what's his name? Jonathan Connor is the running back.
Yeah.
Sarah Connor's brother.
You talking about Connor? Yeah, you talking about Connor, right? Yeah. That's our number one running back, man.
I know.
Man. I mean, hats off to him, overcoming cancer and all that.
Absolutely.
Wow. All that still being out there, man. So hats off to him with that, man. But
and it wasn't he like he was the Band-Aid for when what's his face went to Le'Veon Bell, yeah.
And Le'Veon, it hasn't been the same either. So that was a bad thing.
No.
Same thing. I mean, it's just like it always comes down to that with our players, man. It comes time for them to get paid, and Pittsburgh just don't want to pay them.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, They paid the quarterback though.
Well, I mean,
everybody has to pay the quarterback.
Everybody, tend to pay the quarterback, no matter what. It's just everybody else. It just
even when he be getting his Donald Trump on. At the
he He called what's his name? The cleaner. What's the cleaner in Pulp Fiction? He called him up. Got everything cleaned up.
The wolf.
The wolf.
The wolf. The wolf.
Oh,
you know, they had a what? I know there was an issue. I think were we talking about it, or did I hear that somewhere else? But they were talking about how you know, Pittsburgh being one of the leaders of the Rooney Rule and having to, you know, at least interview a black coach. And they were, one of the things that they were questioning is that Mike Tomlin not having a black coach. You know, and that we were talking about that on here, right?
Yeah.
No doubt. You know, well, unfortunately, we know how it is when brothers and sisters sometimes get ahead in the world, and they don't want to bring others with them for fear that they might lose their position, you know, or you know. So you know, I think a lot of that takes place.
Yeah, it could be. It could be because you already know most likely a lot of times people when they tend to move up, you know, coaches, they look within. So if you have somebody within that you've empowered, most likely you're setting them up. It becomes the Doc Rivers situation over there, you know, and with the Clippers with Ty Lue, you know, he brought Ty Lue in there, and Ty Lue ends up taking his job.
Yeah, but you know, and you know, people talk nepotism. People talk, you know, oh, it's unfair when we do things. Like if we try to put our personal relationships on, it's called one thing. When they do it, it's called another thing. You know what I mean? So I can. It's not to excuse it. You got to try to make elbow room where you can. You know, that's the school we come from. You know, it's kind of unfortunate that Mike Tomlin doesn't have any African Americans up under him on his staff. But there is a whole nother consciousness to trying to navigate that world that, you know, I don't want to totally throw the house at the brother, you know.
But I mean, it's just, you know, it's.
I never knew he didn't hire anybody. I never knew that.
Yeah, he was out there throwing stones too.
Exactly, and then
pointing the finger at other people. You. What about you?
Yeah, where's your staff?
And then, like I said, and then it just seems like every time, you know, the free agents come up, man, it's time to pay somebody in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh don't want to pay nobody, man.
Wow.
So, but we do somehow find a way to be sort of in the middle, and we never got to the point where we just wasn't still in the mix.
No, y'all good for 10 wins. 10,
y'all
11
good
wins.
For 10.
That's Tomlin. Yeah. Tomlin is good for that. Yeah. He's a beast.
You can't front. So football, we staying with the NFL because I got something I need to bring up.
Yeah, we can stay with football real quick. Like we can talk about Drew Brees real quick.
Oh wow.
Because he'd be tight.
That's right. I think it was time.
Definitely. Absolutely. Definitely time. Like that shoulder's gone, no arm, can't get the ball out. I was watching that last playoff game he played, and I was just like, dang, Drew Brees can't even get the ball down the field no more.
Yeah, and you're putting your body through so much punishment. It's like, for what's the purpose at this point? You got yourself a Super Bowl. You're one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. You got, you know, multiple records in the record book. Some of them will probably be broken in the next year or two with Tom Brady. But, you know, you can't take anything away from Drew Brees at all. You know, enough is enough.
Yeah, he just didn't want to. He just didn't want to go out like that. I mean, the past 3 years prior, those consecutive years with that missed, pass interference against the Rams, and then the Vikings, the Vikings, they stole that one. He didn't want to go out that way, and then last year they just straight up lost.
Yeah,
so he was just like,
Brees did his thing. He reinvented himself. Even with the little controversy he had over the summer, it is what it is. He stood up to that too. He didn't run away from it. He did what he had to do, and he had a great football career.
And I'm looking at his stats right here. He got 80,358 yards.
That's first.
80,000.
That's one. Yep.
Yeah. 571 touchdowns.
That's tied. That's second right now.
But he has 243 interceptions. He had a career 67.7 completion.
And I think that's first too.
Yeah.
This has to be definitely. And he has a 98.7 career QBR. 98.7. Right.
Incredible. That's incredible.
That's a great career. That's a great career. And especially for his size to be 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah.
He's on his tippy toes, like trying to peek over the lineman to throw the ball.
I got nothing for Drew Brees in terms of congratulations and good luck.
To circle back around to your point, Wes, though, about the controversy that he faced, last year with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and I have to say, he made a faux pas, but I've never seen, a white player or any person like that then navigate the afterward. Like he sincerely got involved. It wasn't contrived. It was like it was really from the heart. Okay, now it was a real apology. I've been educated, and now that I've been educated, this is what I intend to do. And then it gets out on the front lines. Unlike Sharon Osbourne, who's going through it right now.
Right.
That's another story.
And I think part of what allowed it to soothe over so easy is the fact of all of the work that he's done in the area of New Orleans throughout the years.
Yeah.
I think that allowed people to say, you know what, okay.
Mm-hmm.
He was just outraged without knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he was just in his space, and he just really couldn't see outside his space. But when he took the blinders down, he saw it all, and he admitted he was wrong. He apologized for a specific reason, and that's how you apologize, and you're able to move forward from that point out on. That's it.
And I think it's important that we identify that, we salute that, and let others know that, it's not always about the race card, so to speak. It's genuinely about the human card, and we want to be treated humanely just like everybody else.
That's it. That's it.
Yep. So anything else from the NFL?
Nah, go hit your point. What you got?
Rest in peace, Marvin Hagler.
Oh,
yes,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Marvin's.
I know we all got a Marvin Hagler story.
Yeah, for sure. Well, he's from the bricks, from the hometown, Jers. Go Jers, go Jers. Jersey's the birthplace of some great people, man. These great people who come from Jersey. So salute to Marvin Hagler, Prince Street Projects, no doubt. And
everybody got a Marvin Hagler story, man.
Come on, KG, let's hear Marvin Hagler story,
man. Me, Vin, and Rebecca was just crying the other day about this, yo. A few years, maybe about 15 years ago, we're in where were we? Germany or somewhere, overseas anyway, and Marvin Hagler's at the show. So he comes backstage and he's talking to us, but he's talking like he forgot English.
Are you serious? Straight German.
Serious. He was talking. He was asking his girlfriend or his wife or whoever was on. How do you say ice? How do you say ice in English? We're looking like what? Like Marvin, like if you don't cut it out, like this dude totally forgot English words. Yo, to this day, we still cry about it. It was hilarious. It was just like Marvin Hagler just forgot how to speak English, yo.
Wow, that's crazy.
Unbelievable.
That's a crazy Marvin Hagler story.
Well, he said he famously quoted that if they opened up his brain, it would be a boxing glove. So that's probably where he was getting his verbals from that day.
Yeah.
Chuck Keegan wants to know if he did Italian films.
You know what? It was in Italy where we were at. It was in Italy. I'm looking back now, and it was Italy. It was in Italy.
That's crazy.
And that's why they asked about Italian films. That's exactly what it was. It was in Italy. Marvin Hagler was just buried. That was over in Italy, out the blue. He
forgot how to speak English.
And forgot how to speak English.
Yeah. All right, so I got a question. Who won the Marvin Hagler Sugar Ray fight?
That's my story.
There you go.
My father and I, we watched that fight about, at least 10 times together. My father's a big Sugar Ray Leonard fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, he had me watching the fight. So we watched it, and I thought Leonard won the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But my father, we were on the same page. My father calls me up like after watching it 4 more times. He said, "Hey, we gotta watch the fight again." I said, "What you mean we gotta watch it again?" He said, "Haglin won that fight." I said, why you say that now? Like, what's up? He's like, "No, just come on over. We gotta watch the fight." So I get back over to his house, and he's like, "All right, put the tape in." I put the tape in. He's like, "Turn the volume off." I'm like, look at him like, "What?" He's like, "Turn the volume off." I was like, "All right." We watched the fight. He's like, "What you think?" I looked at the fight without the volume. Haglin won the fight. Sugar Ray Leonard was getting the commentators and the crowd cheer and all that. The fancy quick when he heard, he would do a quick jab combination and steal rounds, but based on the commentators. And if you hear it for like Mike Lampley, whoever was the commentator, if you watch it without volume and you don't listen to the commentators, you just watch the fight. Haglin won the fight. Period.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Maybe the commentators felt like they could say whatever because he couldn't understand what they were saying because they weren't speaking Italian.
But you know what? The first Haglin fight I saw, he was fighting Vito Antuofermo, and he beat Vito Antuofermo to a pulp. And they called the fight a draw. So they had the rematch, and Haglin knocked this man out the ring the second time. Like he left no doubt. Like this time, he was like, "I'm not letting the judges decide this one." So that was like 2 fights I seen that man fight that he didn't lose, or it wasn't no draw. Like it was crazy. He was the man. He was the man, and he was scary.
Oh, yeah.
He was Mike Tyson before Mike Tyson.
He was. One of the greatest fighters of all time. You know, I remember East Orange High School cafeteria sitting around talking about watching that fight, and everybody saying that Sugar Ray won. And then over the course of weeks, it was like, nah, Haglin won that fight, yo. Haglin won that fight. I must have watched that fight about 20, 30 times, watching it over and over. Like Haglin won that fight. And yeah, man, that's just a testament to Sugar Ray Leonard being a showman, being able to pull that off, but he lost that fight.
Or a testament for when you light-skinned cats was getting y'all due, and the dark-skinned brothers had to,
What about the brothers on the cusp?
the dark-skinned brothers had to, struggle on, the pretty boys. You know what I mean?
Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Okay. But I never had a Jerry curl, though. I tell you that.
Man, I'm saying, like for real, man. Just can you picture, getting it, just having a conversation with Haglin, and he act like he don't know no English.
Yo, so I mean, how'd you break the ice? Like you just laughed and walked away, or did y'all try to pull the conversation out?
We just was laughing, like we couldn't, like nothing we could do. We were laughing. Actually, the girl that he was with, which was actually Italian, knew more English than him. At least it seemed like she did.
Wow,
but he was asking her, how do you say this or whatever? She's telling him how to say it, and she's Italian.
Oh man,
crazy. But he was living in New England, right, when he passed away.
Well, actually, yeah, that was another thing that came up because when he passed away, people was talking about, hey, North, and then I know I saw Donnie Wahlberg say, no, he's a Massachusetts guy, and then they cleared it up and said he was born in North, but then he grew up or moved and grew up in Massachusetts. So he, that's where the two came into play.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what
I always thought he got his boxing training in Newark, New Jersey. That was like
I think it was Brockton, Mass. Actually,
Massachusetts.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right outside of Boston.
Yeah, right, like by the Roxbury area.
That's like Michael Jordan in Brooklyn.
Right.
Like really, but not really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq in Newark too. Shaq too, right? Was he there? Yeah.
Well, Shaq, like he claims Newark.
Yeah, he does. He does.
You know what I'm saying? He really, he claims Newark.
He does.
So, but yeah, man. So where we at right now? It's almost 9:00. I'm about to roll another one. We can continue the conversation. I mean, it is Mad Izm Sports, so I figure, you know,
why not? Why not?
all we do. So we went through the handicap with the NCAA's, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did that. We covered the NFL. We covered the NBA pretty much.
We did.
Gave you some underdogs to look for.
Get some underdogs to look for. Also want to shout out before we break out. Next week on the 25th, which is next Thursday, we're going to be doing the Mad Izm Cypher, and it's going to be a live streaming performance. So Mad Izm Sports is going to take place on Wednesday the 24th with our guest Tamika Dixon. Big shout out to Main Event. He's been really a great assist on a lot of levels. So big shout out to him and everybody else who joins us weekly in and out. Derek Parks, cousin William, Chuck Keegan is in the family. Pearl, what's up? Tasha, everybody else that comes through. And yeah, that's how we do it. This is Mad Izm Sports. Hakim Green, Wes, KG, Cliff. We out of here, y'all. Peace.
All right.
Peace, everybody.
Peace, y'all. See y'all next week.
Later, y'all.
All right.